Hello everyone, my name is Tema Basideva. I'm the current CEO and founder of Care for Brains. So, welcome to the Neuroscience of Stress and how stress affects your brain. Stress is something we all experience, whether it's from school, work, relationships, or just the pressures of everyday life. Have you ever wondered what really happens inside your brain when you feel stress? Stress isn't just an emotion, it's a chemical and a neurological response that affects the way your brain functions, especially if it happens a lot. In today's video, we're diving deep into the neuroscience of stress and what happens when stress is short term versus long term, how it impacts your brain structure, and most importantly, what you can do to protect everyone and your mental health. Let's say you're about to take this big test. Your heart starts pounding, your breathing gets shallow, you feel this rush of nervous energy. That's your brain activating the stress response, known as a fight or flight. At the center of this response, in the amygdala, a small but powerful part of the brain is responsible for processing emotions, especially fear and anxiety. The amygdala detects a potential threat and sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus, which then releases the stress hormones, or known as cortisol and adrenaline. Adrenaline kicks in first, making your heart race and your muscles tense. Cortisol follows, keeping you high alert and preparing you to react. In short bursts, this is actually a good thing. Stress can help you focus, react quickly, and even perform better under pressure. But what happens when stress doesn't go away? What if instead of feeling stressed before a test or an important event, your brain is in a constant state of alertness for days, weeks, or even months? That's when stress becomes chronic, and it starts to change the brain in ways that can impact your mental health. One of the biggest areas affected by chronic stress is the hippocampus. This part of the brain is responsible for learning and memory. When cortisol levels stay high for too long, the hippocampus actually starts to shrink, making it harder for you to recall information, concentrate, and even organize. Ever studied for a hard test, but you blanked out during the time you took it? That's your stressed out hippocampus trying to do its job. The prefrontal cortex is another area impacted by stress. This is the part of your brain that helps you with decision making, emotional control, and problem solving. Under stress, the prefrontal cortex weakens, making it even harder to manage emotions. That's why stress can lead you to be more irritable, anxious, and impulsive. If you ever felt overwhelmed and snapped at someone and then immediately regretted it, that's your prefrontal cortex struggling to regulate emotions under stress. Remember, the amygdala, the part of the brain that starts the stress response, chronic stress makes it even more sensitive, meaning it triggers the alarm more often, even when there's no real danger. This can make everyday situations, like a social interaction or minor inconveniences, feel more stressful than they actually are. Because stress affects, brain structure, it's closely linked to mental health conditions like anxiety and depression. Studies have shown that people who experience high levels of chronic stress are more likely to develop mood disorders. This isn't just about feeling overwhelmed, it's about the prolonged stress, physical alters the brain's ability to function properly. But there's good news. The brain is incredibly adaptable. Just as stress can weaken the brain, certain habits and practices can reverse those effects. And that's what we're going to do here today, or talk about. So, what can you do to counteract the effects of stress? So, what can you do to counteract these effects of stress? Neuroscience has shown that activities like mindfulness, deep breathing, exercise, and even proper sleep can help strengthen the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus while calming down the amygdala. One of the simplest things you could do right now is mindful breathing. Let's do a quick exercise. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly. As you do this, you're calming your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps reduce cortisol levels and calm your working brain. Thank you.